So the plan was to do a little drone scene for you guys for the intro. Because it's cold, I don't feel like getting out of my truck. And when I fly the drone, I just fly it directly off my sunroof. And I landed on the sunroof. But it is so damn windy here. The minute I hit the takeoff button, the drone lifted about 4 inches off of the sunroof, and the wind just took it. So that is why our intro is not so exciting today. But I don't think I broke it. Let's do a damage report. Maybe we ought to test flight here in the garage. We're ready for takeoff. We're on the landing strip, which is the decal on the Raptor hood. Let's see what it does. I would highly recommend not trying to catch this mid-landing, but since I'm trying to hold the camera, fly the drone, usually what I'll do is when I'm landing it, you can kind of hit your buttons and kind of just adjust the position a little bit and make it land better. The fact that it slid off, I wasn't surprised, but I actually was able to grab it where I'm holding it now without any of the blades hitting me. I don't really think it would have been that bad. It would have maybe just stung a little bit, but yeah, don't do that. First things first, we gotta turn the thermostat down in here because it's hot. This thing gets hot in here. But anyway, the reason we're here for today's video is because I bought some Baja Design XL Sport pillar lights. I had started making this video like 2 weeks ago, and probably a quarter way through, I came to the realization that I ordered the wrong harnesses. And as much as I wanna say that they sent me the wrong harnesses, I ordered the wrong harnesses. This giant heap of wire, this is the harness that these lights come with. This is the universal harness. You've got your relay, the inline fuse. These are the plugs that are going to go into the lights. You got your handy dandy nitrous switch that you would mount somewhere cool on your dash. We do not want to install this. We want to do the Upfitter switch, so you need the Upfitter adapter harnesses. The problem was, I ordered the harness for the Squadron S2, S1. The only thing that I would have wished is that I placed the order and that the people would have been like, hey, you ordered XL Sports. This isn't the harness for it, but it doesn't really work like that. You're not that special. They don't really care that much about your order. They just see the order, packet gone. So now we got the correct harnesses, which is the harness that says XL, and then we have the splitter harness for the XL. For some reason, I was thinking these were part of the Squadron. This only has 2 plugs. This has 3. I'm sure I could have modified this, made it somehow work, rigged it, but we're not doing that. Then this right here, we're not doing this today. This is the Fuse 27 relocation kit for the Gen 1. This was only like 25 bucks on Amazon. We're going to knock that out. Not today. And I already have the brackets on because 2 weeks ago I put these together thinking that I was installing them on this guy. And I may or may not have a second set of XL Sports chilling in my computer room set up like it's cool, but I'm probably not going to leave them there. I just got these cheap mounts off of Amazon. They were like 15 bucks. There were some other mounts that were like 150 bucks, but honestly, metal's metal, and these look like they position the lights pretty dang good. There's 3 different beam patterns for these. I went with the driving combo. There's a spot, and then there's a wide cornering. Basically, the difference is, like the driving combo, it's just kind of a multitude of zone 1, 2, and 3, so it's just kind of like an all-around light. And I think the differences are the lens. So you can see those are just completely clear, so obviously those are probably just going to shoot directly straight out. These kind of have the little lines, which is going to end up diffusing the light. I don't have a college degree, but I'm assuming that's what's going on. And now they do have other lights. They have like the XL80s. There's a couple other ones that are, I mean, completely brighter than these, because these are in like the 2600 lumen range, I think. Fact check me, I don't care. And since I'm not really off-roading, it didn't really appeal to me to spend that much more for just the more expensive light. The biggest thing to me is making sure I got the XLs, because you can go with the Sports, and they're very small and tiny. So on a truck that's at least a quarter ton, you want to be XLs. I mean, you can just tell right there that this is definitely the best size lighting. And I have another set of these, like I said, so I'm thinking about sticking them on the Gen 1. Today we're going to stick them on the Gen 2 because I only have brackets for the Gen 2. I haven't ordered the Gen 1s yet. But I don't know if I really need 2 sets of pillar lights on both trucks. So I think I'm going to put them on the white one for right now, and then make an educated decision if I want to put them on the Gen 1 as well. I think at this point, I have a second set. All I need is a couple more harnesses and some more cheap brackets, and we'll be good. And they'll both have them. And with these harnesses, everything's plug and play, so you don't have to wire anything. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get the harnesses ran in their prospective home, and get those just situated, and then we'll bolt the lights on, plug them in, and we'll be blinding people. These clips for this cowling, we're gonna use, I don't know, flathead screwdriver, I think. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them or so. But all we're gonna do is we're just gonna pop that, run the wires underneath that cowling from one side to the other. See how easy that was? Literally just clicked it. And I know what you guys are probably thinking, wow, Jimmy, you're so smart. Well, I watch a lot of Jeopardy. There it is. So there's one right there, one right here. 2 seconds later, this is popped open. So you can already see there's some factory wires ran just right in this channel. So we're gonna basically do the same thing. I think we're gonna use that spot and not conjoin with that guy. Yeah, all we'll do is run the harness down through here. And just a little side note, I might have one of the weirdest dogs. Wrigley, what have you been doing in here this whole time? So Wrigley's not a normal shop dog. I put up a doggy bed out here for him to sit on, but if he's on the concrete floor, he just stands the whole time. I don't know. So then I just stick him in one of the trucks, and then he just sits there, and then he'll sleep. See, he's going to go to that side now. You just going to lay down some more and chill? I don't know. I think I have an idea. Does anybody have a spare Raptor seat that they're willing to let me have? I think we'll stick it in the garage somewhere and just see if Wrigley hangs out on that chair while I'm out here. This is our Upfitter harness. We're gonna want it to land over here because that's where the Upfitter wires are. And that's just gonna go over there. And these are the 2 plugs for the lights themselves. And this is gonna go into the Upfitter switch. So these 2 plugs for the lights are actually the same length, so it doesn't matter really which side you run it on. Right under here is where our Upfitter harness is, and this is for the factory Upfitter switches. And you can see these wires right here that are already ran. These are part of my sweet Amazon fog lights that came on the truck. I keep telling myself I'm going to remove them, but I feel like it'll be bare, like it won't look as good. But those Amazon fogs are kind of cheesy, and I really just need to get the Baja design fog lights, but I'm just too cheap. Well, so under this cowling, there's this wire that's ran, and it's like clipped in up top. So the thing that's going to make most sense is to run our new harness behind it, so we can come through here, down, and plug into those guys right here. Same thing I'm going to do over here. I'm going to take this plug for the light, and I'm going to stick it behind this like I did with this guy. So we'll just kind of do it like that. Get her tucked in there. Get this guy tucked in there. I'm not zip tying anything. Once they're in under here, I'm just letting it like free hang. Now I probably got way too much pulled out. I just have some extra slack right now because the light's gonna be like right here. So we'll end up just taking that slack and pulling it in so it's back up under there. To mount these lights, since we already popped this front part of the cowling, there's still just a clip right back here in this corner that we need to pop because the bolt is right under this plastic piece back here. But we're going to take this screwdriver, we're going to come from this side, and we're just going to get under it and pop it over here. You heard it pop. And like I said, I don't have a college degree. I almost went to Harvard, but I didn't get accepted. We've got that 10mm out of the way. Some people like to put tape or like a rag down or something. Maybe we'll put a rag down. We don't want to scratch this guy. Since I didn't get accepted into Harvard, I just quit and basically started a YouTube channel. Big hole is for the lights. Small hole is for down here in the truck. And you can see how it's kind of got a wider area, and that's for adjustment reasons. This one here is going to be for this side because see how that kind of goes backwards? You don't want it to go forward at the hood. That's as if you opt for the cheap Amazon $15 mounts. Since there is a little room for this to kind of move left or right, try to get this bracket as close to the fender as you can. So we were able to make that work. We'll just take this rubber piece and kind of bend it down. This one's tight enough to adjust it now. So I think what we're gonna do for the next one is we're gonna bolt this to this first and then bolt it to the chassis, but we're gonna leave the light off because if the light is on, I can't use my socket to impact this. But if the light's off and this is attached, I can first tighten this down good. The wrench and crescent wrench work fine. Without this, then you can still use your impact. So that's what we're gonna do on the other side. We have another problem. Since these are such low profile mounts, which I do like, that side is fine because the windshield wiper blades come this way. This windshield wiper blade was under here. So right now I have it resting right there, and I don't see any other way to make it work to where this is high enough and this goes just the extra little way. This bracket might be just a little too low profile, but it stated it was for this truck. We're gonna run it and see how it is. For right now, I might look into, though, definitely a different bracket. That's what happens when you cheap out and buy Amazon stuff. Just to recap, the harness off the lights ran down, and it's gonna be covered under the seal, and we ran it to the inside of the hood, and it's plugged in basically right under the plastic cowling, and all of the excess, just kind of take it in and get it in there as best you can. This right here, the Upfitter adapter harness, it's coming out through here, and it's in this front joist. Most of my other harnesses, see this plastic piece here, are back behind it. But for the Upfitter, it's just close. So here's the harness coming off the light, here's the adapter harness. I'm gonna plug them in real quick, and then just basically tuck it in back in there. For the Upfitter harness, you're going to see three things. You're going to see, for the ground, a white wire, a green wire. The green wire is because the XLs, I believe, have a dimmable function. Maybe it's the higher end, but that's what that green wire is for, is it is for a dimmable function. My switch is on off, so there's nothing dimming, so we're just going to use the white wire. And all you'll do is you'll end up stripping off the little black piece, which is just like a cap, and you're going to put it in this connector. You can see the white wire is already in there, and right off to the right hand side there's a little metal piece. That's where the new wire is going to insert into, and then when you shut this closed, that's what's going to make the connection. We've got it all wired up. So what I did was I just kind of cut the shield around the harness to allow the ground to come out, because the nearest ground I found was this 8mm down here on the side of the chassis. So I just cut that way it'd give this some slack. And then I just kind of retaped over the shield that's on the rest of the harness, since we're not using green, and the white is just connected onto the gray and yellow. So we should be good. If we hook the battery back up, we should have power. Switch number 3, is it gonna work? Yes, sir. And there we have it. These things are legit. It's basically like my brights are on steroids. Video will probably never do them full justice. I assure you, when I turn these on, these overpower my brights. These are phenomenal, considering I'm just going to be using them for when I'm in areas, especially where there's a lot of deer. I try to take more drone shots, but again, it's still so windy here that I'm getting the strong wind notification, and it's 8 degrees right now. I really do not feel like looking for a drone out in a field. Let's try to find a road that's got really like no good lighting and see if we can just get you guys somewhat of a good glimpse of how good these lights are. Now we're coming into an area with no lighting other than my truck. Turn those on, and we can now we get visibility like no other. So you can see I'll turn my brights on, and the brights realistically did nothing. We'll flip them the other way around. There's my brights. And you can just tell that it does have the narrow and wide, and then it's also got the long shot. The only thing that I might change, I didn't bring a wrench with me, and honestly, it's 8 degrees out. I don't really feel like dialing these in, but they're pretty close. But I do think they could be just pitched up a little higher, just because I want to say the main beam that I adjusted on my garage door is probably in line with the top of my headlights. It's still super bright, and it's still just giving me visibility all over. I'm thoroughly impressed with these, especially because they're the $400 ones. They're not the ones that are in the $800 range. So if you guys are looking for some lights that are not gonna like break your bank, also give you definite good lighting, I would highly recommend trying out these XL Sports.
You do for all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge.
That's the deal with the XL Sports. These brackets, however, I'm just not thoroughly impressed with them. They look good, they fit good, the height's good. This one, I got it as close as I can. I'm gonna have to readjust it, but it's kind of got a little shake into it while driving. So that's why it's kind of important to try to get it butted up to the fender. But every time I do it, it ends up sucking back. So I'm gonna have to try to dial that in. And then this bracket over here, like we were talking about with the windshield wiper. The windshield wiper works and everything. But the other problem, if you haven't noticed, I can no longer run an antenna with this, which means it's either I need to get different brackets, or I just put in one of the antenna deletes. I don't really listen to FM radio anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. But overall, these brackets for 15 bucks, they're not bad. A part of me wonders if these brackets are just for the smaller lights, because this being so wide is the reason why the windshield wiper blade's hitting. So I'm just going to run these for a little bit. Would I recommend these brackets? For 15 bucks, it's not bad. But there's obviously better brackets out there. It's just if you want to spend a little more. So if you guys are just wanting to be cheap like me, get those. Other than that, that's a wrap on the Baja Designs pillar lights. I hope this video helped you guys. Any questions, you know the drill. And make sure to give this video a like. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.